Marineland, a place so many people have heard about, yet so few have actually visited, myself included. For years, it was just a name to me, a landmark on the coast. But when I finally stepped inside, something shifted. I realized this wasn't just another Florida attraction. It was a place with layers, stories, and memories tucked into every corner.
When you think about the history of Marineland, in the 1930s, it started actually as marine studios.
The animal kingdom flourishes in Florida's subtropic climate. Visitors get to meet the porpoise, and that's a real treat.
Marineland was so diverse. It wasn't just animals, right? It was a film studio, and there was hotels and a playground and a campground.
And it really was a place where people could experiment to see what's possible in filmmaking.
So the town of Marineland is a municipality. It's 1940, it was incorporated less than a mile square. It's a small town. Back in the 40s, when there were attractions, the person that developed the attraction, they created their own municipality.
As long as I had worked there, there were always a Marineland Town Commission. They invited me to join as town manager, and I have continued after my employment at Marineland ended.
I really fell in love with Marineland's history and really fell in love with Marineland. It became more than just a job at that point. It really became, oh my gosh, I have to tell the story of this little aquarium that was so important in both the world of scientific discovery and marine conservation, but also Florida tourism and architecture and filmmaking. I mean, you can go on to any subject, and in some way, Marineland was involved.
Marineland was definitely, built in love, but it started with all that groundbreaking research. Everything we know about marine mammals, a lot of that started at Marineland. And to be part of that, to be, I wasn't there in the 50s, but actually get to work there where all that happened, is just so incredible.
When they're at Marineland, it's not just this is a beautiful facility at a great location and you're having fun with your family. You are in the place where echolocation was discovered, right? Or where the first dolphin in human care gave birth, or these things that we don't think about. Where did that happen for the first time? It happened there, and that place still exists, and people still come to learn about animals there. And I think in a town that is so full of history, it's important to make sure Marineland's history is included in that.
But just as I started learning what makes Marineland so important, I found myself pulled into a story much bigger. A story about whether this Florida relic, this living piece of our past, might be lost forever. And I found myself documenting a fight to save it.
Everybody thinks Marineland is in bankruptcy. Marineland is not in bankruptcy. The Dolphin Company is in bankruptcy. Marineland is one of its assets. All of 2024, they would tell me, you need to cut a few employees here, you need to cut a few employees there. And so, we had over 100 employees, and now we were down to 33. So there were some real issues.
With major real estate developers bidding millions on the land, the fight became much harder, and the outcome far less certain.
Highest bid goes to a company named Delightful Development LLC. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. But first, let's rewind a little bit. Reminder that Marineland Dolphin Adventure was up for auction because its parent company, the Dolphin Company, filed for bankruptcy. Well, this final bid that has now come in for Marineland Dolphin Adventure was at $7.1 million from a company, as we mentioned, called Delightful Development LLC. Of course, the big question is, what will it do with the 87-year-old marine life attraction? Simply put, we don't know.
One evening, as I looked out at Marineland at sunset, I felt myself wondering, could the sun be setting on Marineland? On this beautiful piece of history that has touched so many lives and hearts, including mine?
And in January, I was told I needed to cut 2 more trainers. And I said, no, I can't do that. We have bare minimum of what we can handle right now. And that's when I gave my resignation, because my salary saved 2 of theirs. And The trainers are definitely more important than the business lady of Marineland, which is what I was. And because I resigned, I was able to do what I have been doing, which is look for investors, look for a way to buy Marineland. I thought from the Dolphin Company, I was going to make an offer to them, but then they went into bankruptcy. So now, how do I get it out of bankruptcy? That was how, and how much time am I going to have to do that? And so I told the employees that I was going to do everything I could. And that's what I've been doing since February 1st.
People come and want to save it and want to keep it like it is. And that's hard here in the state of Florida.
With the laws and development pressures shaping Florida's coastline today, saving Marineland became a challenge far bigger than anyone expected. But in the middle of all of that fear and uncertainty, a glimmer of hope appeared, and it came from right here in Florida.
The Rubles from Clay County stepped in to help marine mammal expert Jack Kasowitz and former Marineland manager Felicia Cook bid on the park.
Marineland is a unique place. Several years ago, it was designated a remarkable coastal place. And the people who are associated with it care very deeply.
I think one of the things that's really important for people to know about Marineland is that as much as it has impacted the community, what happens inside the closed doors, those relationships between the staff and the animals who they love, exceeds any even guess that this community has to understand how much love is at that facility. So that is a family that works at Marineland.
Throughout all of this, I kept coming back to the people, because the story of Marineland has always been found in them. During this project, message after message came into me from people eager to share their memories, their childhood visits, or their years working there. It made me realize Marineland isn't just a place, it's a community.
I worked as a waitress in the Dolphin restaurant at Marineland the year I graduated from high school. It was wonderful. Working at Marineland of Florida is one of the best jobs you could ever have.
They had basketballs in the circular oceanarium, and the dolphins would play catch with you. They would throw the basketball up, and I would just do that for hours. And Betty was one of the dolphins that liked to play catch with me. You know, when I returned there, about a year before that, I had a kidney cancer diagnosis. And Marineland invited me up to go visit Betty. And I got to pet and play ball with Betty just like I used to way back in the day. You know, and they didn't want anything back. They just did that for me.
I grew up here in St. Augustine, and I remember going to Marineland often with my family or on a school field trip, and I would marvel at all the marine life, and I even remember Nellie.
Here we are back at the Marine Studios at Marineland, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, and here's Nellie, our porpoise with a purpose. How's that, Nellie? Oh, I get the message, ladies and gentlemen. Nellie wants us to get on with our demonstration.
It's just amazing to learn everybody's heart. You know, we've received $5, $10, $1,000 through the GoFundMe. And names I don't know, names I do know, people that are giving every week instead of just one time. But the Ruble family giving millions is just more than I can even say thank you for.
And just when the hope seemed to be slipping away, something extraordinary happened. Apex, the group trying to save Marineland, emerged as the highest bidder. $6.5 million in cash, plus a non-cash consideration that put them ahead of the developer by just $35,000. It was a breakthrough, but the decision still rested with the judge, who would need to approve the final sale.
My team gets tired of hearing God choreography, because that's what I call all of this. This has been wrapped in prayer, wrapped in work, wrapped in communication, and you just cannot believe the things that have happened. The way that it's not just the money that comes in. Don't get me wrong, all of that, we all know money's important in this world. But it's the kind letters, it's the kind text messages, it's the kind phone calls that say, thank you for doing this. Thank you, somebody cares. Or the stories of what their life was like when they came to Marineland, when they brought their children, when they brought their grandchildren. All of that is just so heartwarming and just proof in the pudding that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
There's been many, many different owners over the years and different management and different employees, but this sort of enduring sense that Marineland couldn't do what it does without the community's support, and so you have to listen to the community.
The general consensus, at least the people I've spoken to, say that they want the history maintained, but most importantly, that the marine life, whether it be the dolphins or the fish that call the aquarium home, are cared for.
Marineland is safe. A judge approved the sale of the historic dolphin park to a group called Apex that plans to keep it a dolphin park.
After months of waiting, working, and worrying, Marineland was finally safe. It wasn't the end of the story. There was still so much left to do. But now this place, its dolphins, and its other animals, and the people who love them would be protected. For the first time in a long time, the future felt bright again, and a sunrise could be seen on the horizon.
So the nonprofit that we started, and I say we because everything I've done for Marineland, I've done for the team that is Marineland. Taryn says it best. I always call her the heart of Marineland, and she says no. There are so many hearts, and there are. It's generational. So again, the nonprofit that we started is called Marineland Waves of the Future. The nonprofit will be the operating management company for Marineland, and we'll have a board. It won't be one person dictating everything. It will be several people talking about the future, the vision, the mission, the next step. And I just can't wait to see what the future has, because the conservation, the education, the research, the history, all of that is so important. So we're excited to see where the waves of the future will take us.
Marineland is one of those places where the moment you arrive, you feel it, the passion that lives there. It's in the way the staff talks about the animals, in the pride they take in the history, and in the love they carry for what this place represents. It represents conservation, education, connection, and a belief that the natural world and our relationship with it is worth protecting.